Mining is the backbone of Zambia's economy since the country attained independence in 1964. The situation is a continuation of the country's mainstay to pre- and post-independence era. Zambia is a mining giant, recognized internationally as the producer of copper and cobalt. Locally, the country has relied on the mining sector to support its economic growth, boasting of 70% of its foreign earnings coming from the sector. The Copperbelt province is the hub of major mining activities, but has not remained so with the coming on board of Rumwana and Kansanshi mining giants emerging from the northwestern province. That being the case, the country still boasts of other mineral resources dotted across the country's 10 provinces, with more explorations taking place. With this wealth in the mineral resource, the country needs a well-trained cadre of personnel to manage and run the industry. This means training is cardinal for such industry runners from reputable teaching institutions. The University of Zambia and the Copperbelt University come in handy to provide for such.
The School of Mines at the West of Zambia was opened in 1973. Initially, before that, we were hosted by School of Engineering. We were part of School of Engineering, but thanks to the ZCCM, they built this School of Mines and we were relocated to this place. So, since 1973, the School of Mines has been producing mining graduates, so mining, geology and metallurgy graduates who are working in various industries, and we are proud to say that we are producing top quality graduates who are serving not only the big mining companies in Zambia but also worldwide. Since we started producing graduates, I think over 2,000 graduates have passed through this school.
Likewise, the Copperbelt University School of Mines and Mineral Sciences was established to provide training and churn out the much-needed professionals in the industry. They include geologists, mining engineers, metallurgists, chemical engineers and environmental engineers who are needed by the existing mining industry to sustain the country's main economic stronghold. Dr. Kawunga Nyirenda is the Dean in the School of Mines and Mineral Sciences at CBU.
You will understand that prior to independence, we had a lot of expatriates working in our mining industries. And then the University of Zambia introduced the UNZA School of Mines. It was the only school then which was training manpower for the mining industries until the Copperbelt University was also formed in 1987. Since then, these two schools of mines have been the backbones of the manpower training for the mining industries. Almost all the local experts working in our mining industries were trained by either UNZA School of Mines or Copperbelt University School of Mines. So we've done a lot as the two schools of mines in terms of training manpower for the mining industries. This is why we always say that we don't see justification for having expatriates in the mining industries, because there is no job in the mining industries today which is done by an expatriate, which can't be done or which has never been done successfully by a local expert. We've trained experts. The mines are being run by our own former graduates.
The two universities have invested in ultra-modern equipment that practically supports students, unlike the reliance on theory. This is a way to have the students who later graduate with hands-on attributes thanks to well-equipped laboratories.
The students from here are well equipped. As you can see, our labs are equipped with equipment. We have the flotation machines here. We have the spiral concentrator. We also have the gas chromatography and other equipment for analyzing the water samples and the UV. We also have crushing and grinding equipment. And for analysis of samples, we have the atomic absorption spectrophometer. as well as the scanning electron microscope. What happens usually when we're done with the flotation part, we also have a furnace where we do melt the concentrate for us to further upgrade the copper. So our students are subjected to the practicals in the lab using these equipments that we have. Not only that, we have a great partnership with our stakeholders, the mining industry or industries in general, where they take on students for attachments.
This is a scan electron microscope, a piece of equipment that is not only beneficial to CBU, but the country at large. Different players in the mining sector rely on this machine for accurate measurements of mineral deposits.
The coming of the scan electron microscope has exposed many other minerals that Zambia has, and potentially can actually diversify from mining to other mining minerals. An example, it is able to analyze in details different other and accurately other minerals like tantalite, niobium, uranium, name it, whatever is on the periodic table, it's able to review. Rare earth metal bearing minerals, we're able to examine in detail and be able to find a metallurgical route on how best to extract or concentrate it for the benefit of the country.
Zambia is currently the 7th largest producer of copper in the world, but the mineral resource is not the only one. The nation sits on a wealth of mineral resources, ranging from cobalt and gemstones to mention but a few, with the latest discovery of gold. The others, such as nickel and manganese, are also mined but at a small scale. Despite the case, the country's economic performance fluctuates depending on the volatility of the copper prices at the international market. UNZA and CBU, the two highest institutions of learning, are aware of this, and in efforts to provide mitigation measures, organized the first ever conference on geology, metallurgy, mining and groundwater resources in 2018. The conference saw the coming together of different experts and stakeholders to discuss the future of mining in Zambia.
We held our conference last year in the month of November, and last year there are many issues that we talked about. We had a number of keynote speakers, and these are eminent industry experts who came to give keynote speeches on a number of fields. We had colleagues from about 10 countries who came to attend the conference, besides the local citizens from Zambia who attended the conference. It was a great success, and we shared ideas as experts in the field.
Last year's theme was future mining. We want to see how we can mine in the future. As you know, technology is changing, so we want to catch up with the technology so that we mine cheaply and safely, so that we don't kill our people as we are doing mining.
The 2018 conference on geology, metallurgy, mining and groundwater resources has already started bearing fruit as policymakers continue to tap into the ideas discussed at the conference.
What came from the conference, for example, when we discussed that there's need for the government to get more money in form of taxes, and then you see the government changing the taxation scheme. So, which means that what was discussed in that conference is henceforth giving us fruits. Then we had also discussed things that had to do with groundwater resources. Now, you may be aware that last year there was a law which was put up to say people need to be paying for the boreholes and other things. Now, during that conference, we had to talk about the groundwater resources. Again, we had an expert who talked about groundwater resources and the need for us as a nation to preserve our groundwater resources for the future generations. Remember, when we talk about sustainability, it basically involves our ability to do whatever we are doing today without impacting negatively on future generations.
With this positive response from stakeholders in the mining sector, the Copperbelt University and the University of Zambia School of Mines and Mineral Sciences have again planned for the second conference on geology, metallurgy, Mining and Groundwater Resources, to be held in November 2019.
The main importance of this conference is that we want to bring academics and researchers from the mining industry as well as from the University of Zambia and Copperbelt University, so that they share ideas on their knowledge and experience in their respective places of work. And we're also trying to bring also policymakers to this conference, like people in the government, to come and also share their experiences in this type of business.
Well, the conference that is coming up, which we are co-hosting, basically is going to look at the main areas which are in the title of the conference. That is geology, mining, metallurgy, and groundwater resources. As we are doing the mining activities, the first step that takes place is that the geologists, who we call in our field as the detectives, they go to explore for the minerals. Once they are done with that, then the mine engineers go to dig out the minerals, the ore from underground. And then they give the metallurgists. And then, now, in doing all these things, there is an impact on the groundwater resources. So we don't want to disturb the groundwater resources. And what we're talking about is the sustainability. We want groundwater resources not to be impacted in a negative way. So then what should we do? We need now to bring on board all the stakeholders to come to a conference where all these things will be discussed in an environment where we've got all the experts in the areas, so that our country can prosper.
The 2019 conference will run under the theme Diversification and Value Addition in the 21st Century. This is also in line with the 7th National Development Plan, which runs from 2017 to 2021 and aims to diversify the national economy and add value to the copper mining industry, supply and production chains without anyone being left behind.
Diversification, what we're saying is that we don't want to only focus on, say, copper or cobalt. You'd see our women doing what we call small-scale mining. That is mining as well in itself. But those who are doing quarrying, that is mining. We want to promote that. We want to support that. We want to support the gemstone industries. From the gemstone industries, as a country, we are able to make a lot of money. And there is a potential in the gemstone industries, but then it is not well or fully supported. We want to promote that. So we don't want to localize ourselves to just one or two metals. No, we want to diversify to all the other metals and minerals.
As you are aware, the mining in Zambia began, I think, about 100 years ago. That's when we began mining. And then what we have been seeing as a country is just copper being exported outside Zambia. You mine and then export the raw copper, and the story ends there. But I know mining has been the major source of income for Zambia, the main source of foreign exchange for Zambia. But we can even improve further by adding value to whatever we are producing, the copper we are producing.
Associated with that is the quality of jobs. So the quality of the job of a person who is making, let's say an electric motor or something down the value chain, the quality and stability of that job is much, much higher and much better. Because the person who is digging the copper out of the ground, once the price of copper on the world market drops, there is an immediate threat to that person's job. Whereas the person who is making a motor, and that motor is being used in the fan, aircon, and so on and so forth, the demand for a fan, the demand for an aircon does not fluctuate with the price of copper on the world market. So that person's job is much more stable. And in fact, even in terms of the earning power, it's higher up. So we're saying to ourselves, we should be moving and looking at the opportunities that are created when you're going down the value chain.
A number of broad themes have been lined up by the organizing committee as follows: geology, mining, metallurgy, groundwater resources, emerging issues, policy, and sustainable management of mineral resources.
Here at the conference, one of our objectives is basically to share our knowledge and experiences under our theme diversification and value addition in the 21st century, as well as build capacity through mineral resources education in Zambia. So centering around that theme and those few objectives, would like people to come in and send in their papers so that they can present to us, and we'll be able to share knowledge in that vein. And we are also looking at building capacity for students. We are not just restricting to members of the public in terms of the private sector and people that are already working. We want to build capacity for our very own students.
I feel important, as in we're given a chance to give out our views and see a way of how we can add value to the products that we produce as metallurgists. Because when I talk about adding value to these products is, in a case of, let's say, exporting raw copper, we can make, let's say, ornaments like earrings, we can make bullets from within, we can make cab bodies.
My area of interest in the upcoming conference, which happens in November, is value addition. I feel we need to take our focus away from exporting our mineral resources as raw products, but rather as finished products. If we have to improve on the factories that work on those finished products, we'll improve our manufacturing industry, we provide more employment opportunities to the people of Zambia, and I feel the government can also play their role in that they stop importation of products that are produced by Zambian people so as to increase demand.
Mopani Copper Mines and the Education for Sustainable Development in Africa are already on board as part of the sponsors of this year's conference.
We consider this conference to be very important, not only because of the opportunity to have a meeting of minds of people who are professionals in this area, but also as a platform to create an understanding of policy and how policy in this particular field can be used to ensure that our country benefits significantly from its existing natural resources.
It's very key that as a mining company we have a good relationship with the universities, and we do realize that technologies are changing, the way we do things are changing, and it's important to keep everybody abreast, and what better way to do it than through a conference. So being part of this conference is core to our operations, it's core to our progress as a company. So it's really important that we continue this relationship with universities, and being part of the conference is one good way of enhancing these relationships and developing minds as well as developing the learning institutions.
One of the subtopics under emerging issues is women in mining. The manager corporate affairs at Mopani knows too well why this is important.
We do run a training school as Mopani, and we encourage particularly the ladies to take up the engineering and mining courses that we are offering so that we increase the number. Yes, we are still below in terms of percentage, but we are seeing it improving, and we are seeing young ladies taking up the challenge. So it's progressing and it is positive, and we are encouraging from the nurseries people to know that the ladies can also take up professions in mining.
And we are also bringing on board our colleagues who are experts in the environmental health. So under this conference, we have also partnered with the occupational health. So then we're going to have a conference that's going to be holistic, that will cover all the areas.
This is a very important conference, and let me also say that it's coming at the right time. You know, every time technology is always changing, and the mining sector itself is one of those sectors where technology changes very quickly. At the same time, we are in the field of health. The field of health as well is also another sector where technology changes very quickly. So a conference like that is a platform for both the mining sector and ourselves to exhibit the new technology or to share ideas about the new technology. It will enable us to learn from others, and it will also enable us to teach others on the new technology we might have acquired, or the new technology which might have been developed elsewhere. It's also very important for these mine owners to bring their workers for examinations to make sure that these people don't suffer from occupational diseases, or we discover their occupational diseases early enough before they are in that condition where they actually cannot do anything.
The organizing committee is hopeful that just like the 2018 conference, the 2019 conference on geology, metallurgy, mining and groundwater resources will be a success.
This year's conference will be held from 21st, 23rd November at Garden Court Hotel in Kitwe. We are optimistic. We have written to the PS Higher Education so that the ministry can invite on our behalf the Republican President, His Excellency Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. We hope he is going to grace the conference. And then we are also expecting the Ministers of Mines and Minister of Higher Education to attend the conference, as well as the other senior government officials. We are also expecting industry leaders and experts to come and attend this conference. Further to that, we are also happy that there's been sponsors to this conference. We've got Mopani Copper Mines who have come to sponsor the venue for the conference to the tune of 127,000 kwacha. We've also got the Education for Sustainable Development in Africa, ESDA UNZA, who sponsored us with 35,000 United States dollars. Then in terms of the keynote speakers, we've invited the eminent citizens to come and give keynote speeches during our conference. Besides that, we've also got our own experts in the academia from the Groundwater University, as well as from the University of Zambia, who will also be presenting papers over the research that we have done throughout the years.
For the conference to be successful, I think the people who are submitting abstract need to adhere to these dates which are here. Like the abstract submission deadline, we have set to 31st May 2019. So if you want to participate in this conference, you have to submit your abstract by 31st May. And then the full paper submission deadline will be on 30th June. And then early bird registration is 5th July. So if you want to register early, and there's a discount if you register early, so it's 5th July. And then late registration, I think, is 31st October 2019. During the conference, we are going to have these proceedings published, as well as the book of abstract. These will be published by the conference.
Another component I would like to mention here is exhibitions. We would like to also people to come and exhibit at the conference. They will be given a booth where they can advertise their products. And if they want to also talk about their product and sell themselves and what they do, they can as well come at the conference. So we also have the component, we've also planned for exhibitors as well. And for registration, they can go to our website, which is www.cbu.ac.zm/ground. They can register there for the conference as just participants. And for those that would like to send in an abstract, they can download the template at the same website, and they can send it to the Secretary, Copperbelt University, School of Mines and Mineral Sciences, PO Box 21692, Kitwe. Or they can email it at the email address miningconference@cbu.ac.zm.
This conference will bring together academics, researchers, industry, society, and key policymakers to share their knowledge and experiences on diversification and value addition in the 21st century through ways and means of addressing teaching, research, and consultancy in basic and applied geology, mining, metallurgy, and groundwater resources, all to the benefit of Mother Zambia.